Mr. Rumpler.
Chairman Oberstar, members of the committee, good afternoon. My name is John Rumpler, Senior Attorney with Environment America. We are a federation of 27 state-based, citizen-supported environmental advocacy organizations. And in my role as Senior Attorney, I coordinate our clean water advocacy work from Puget Sound to the Great Lakes to the Chesapeake Bay. Most of our work, just as the previous two speakers have talked about, the great deal of our work is at the state level. And while we don't exclusively focus on enforcement, we've worked on reducing the use of toxic chemicals, we've worked on runoff pollution and a number of things. We have also been deeply involved directly in clean water enforcement. Most specifically, we have prevailed in 99 citizen suits to compel violators of Clean Water Act permits to curb their pollution and come in compliance with the law for our rivers, lakes, and streams. More systematically, we have done an overview of compliance of major facilities with their NPDES permits, and I'm afraid that our results paint a little bit of a different picture than Mr. Porta just represented. Now, I want to note for the record that we were not talking about any paperwork violations. We were not talking about minor violations. We were talking about discharges of pollution in excess of limits set to protect water quality. And here is what we found in the year of 2005, and we had similar results in previous years when we did this assessment. Number one, the problem is widespread. 57% of major facilities violated at least one discharge limit that year. Overall, those facilities had 24,000 discharge exceedances. Again, exceeding limits to protect public health and the environment. Nor were these minor. Of these 24,000 violations of these permit limits, they averaged nearly 4 times the amount of pollution allowed under law. And in many cases, these were chronic repeat offenders. 600 of these facilities, more than 600 of these facilities, reported effluent violations again and again and again just in the year of 2005 alone. Indeed, the best indicator of whether we, America, the states, EPA, all of us, are doing a good job with the Clean Water Act is whether our rivers, lakes, and streams are clean. And unfortunately, with so many polluters dumping so much pollution from direct sources into those waterways, it is not surprising to us that nearly half of our rivers and streams are not safe for fishing or drinking or other uses. That is a fundamental problem. We offer the following solutions. We believe we need tougher enforcement, more resources, and we need to restore the protection of the Clean Water Act to all of America's waterways. Tougher enforcement. It's time to put the environmental cop back on the beat. While there is some value to informal measures from time to time, the practical reality of the matter is that deterrence demands that penalties are certain, swift, and severe enough to ensure that pollution no longer pays. Moreover, we need to make sure that the underlying permits themselves are strong enough to protect water quality. The original Clean Water Act envisioned an end of direct discharges by 1985. We're nowhere near that, and states are not systematically reviewing the permits and ratcheting down the permit levels. We need to toughen the permits to get to clean water. Now, all of this takes resources, and I couldn't agree more that our state agencies and EPA, all of us, need more resources to be able to do this job well. Possibly, we should consider a mandatory permit fee scheme, which I think some of my colleagues can speak more specifically to. But in addition to money for enforcement agencies, we also need money for infrastructure. I want to applaud Congress and the Obama administration for the $4 billion in clean water infrastructure money in the stimulus package, but we need to build on that if we're ever going to end sewage overflows. Finally, I would be remiss if I did not note to this committee the need to make sure that all of our waterways are protected. There are many problems and challenges that we have here today, but that is one that this committee has the power to directly solve. I thank you for your time, and let me make one final note, Mr. Chairman, which is that next Thursday, a week from today, we will be releasing a new report documenting the millions of gallons of toxic chemicals discharged into our waterways using TRA data. Thank you.
Well, certainly look forward to that report, and thank you for your testimony and for your stout defense of clean water.